You're watching continuing local news coverage from Colorado's biggest news team. Now, Fox 31 Morning News at 9. We're on it.
All right, clear skies for us, but we do have a little bit of a cool down coming at the end of this week, and we could also be getting rain and snow. Yeah, much needed moisture for the metro area. I'll talk about that coming up.
And Fox 31 is your local election headquarters. Of course, today is Super Tuesday, meaning you have until 7 p.m. tonight to turn in that ballot. We'll hear from the clerk and recorder here in Denver County just ahead.
Plus, a proposal at the Capitol making some big waves here to bring back a unique animal, a wolverine, to our state.
Russell Wilson, he's done, ending his ride in the Mile High. The Broncos cutting the quarterback who was primed to take his position, plus new reaction this morning coming up. Good to have you guys with us. 9 o'clock as we get things going Tuesday morning. I'm Kirk Yonke.
I'm Ashley Ryan. We will get over to our forecast in just a minute, but we start with breaking news right now.
Yeah, if you're trying to access Instagram or Facebook, two of the biggest social media platforms in the world, they are apparently down right now, and we've been able to confirm that ourselves. Can't send messages, private messages on Instagram. It was working about an hour and a half ago. So this is downdetector.com. They track outages. This is specifically Facebook, and you can see nearly 200,000 reports at 8:45 of outages.
That's more than tripled in the past 30 minutes since we last looked at this. So more and more people probably waking up or at least taking time to report this. So again, right now you might have some trouble. Drew saying he's actually able to access his Instagram just fine, but the three of us are not. So
we're not sure what's going on. That's the big question, especially a week and a half after that major outage with AT&T that lasted nearly a day. So we're on it, guys. We'll keep you posted. Keep it locked here on Fox as we stay live and local with you all morning long. Let's get over to Greg Perez, watching your weather. You don't need your Instagram feed for your weather. You got Greg.
And no, I got this nice camera. Nice camera looking over downtown. That's all I need. No, I'm just kidding. We have temperatures on your way out the door in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Again, it's been very slow to warm up this morning, so we're hoping over the next couple of hours we'll get into the upper 40s and lower 50s, and we'll get there between the 3 and 4 o'clock hours this afternoon and by the late evening. Clear skies for us once again. Maybe a few light mountain showers across the high country and out across the western slope. That will be a main theme for today, with isolated snow showers on the way. But Denver, nothing but clear skies this morning. A few more clouds as we head into this afternoon. It'll be breezy depending on where you are. In the metro area, though, look at us already between 15 and 20 miles per hour. We could be seeing gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So make sure to keep all of those loose, lightweight items secured, and high-profile vehicles. It is going to be one of those days where crosswinds could be a bit of an issue in the high country. 3 miles per hour in Fort Morgan, in the double digits, though, surrounding Keensburg, Bennett, and into Parker. Temperatures right now, again, on the chillier side, 33 degrees in Denver, so we're hovering right around freezing. Middle to lower 30s in Pueblo and in Colorado Springs, and upper 30s as we're getting into La Junta and Lamar. We'll top out at 51 degrees, all as we're tracking big changes on the way in the form of snow Thursday into Friday. I'll time that out for you coming up.
Instagram's working.
Oh.
Is it? It's back? I just got a message.
Oh, we're
my
so
buddy
back.
said it's working now. So everyone.
for him at least, and if you got the message, I guess
The
you're
45 minutes of peace in your life is now gone as Meta is back.
There
Facebook.
you go. No excuses if you need to get back on social media.
All right, now we are your local election headquarters here at Fox, guys. Today, a big day, Super Tuesday. The presidential primary is in the hands of the voters, not just here in Colorado, but about 15 states across the country.
Yeah, let's get right to Carly Moore live from inside the Denver Election Division headquarters, and new numbers coming in, Carly.
Yeah, they just came into our newsroom just a few minutes ago. Kirk, Ashley, good morning. And more ballots, of course, continue to come in. So the Colorado Secretary of State's office continues to update the voter turnout numbers as well. So let's take a look. These are the latest numbers that we just received. You can see the graph here. It looks similar to the ones that we've been talking about the last couple of days, but these are new numbers so far. The voter turnout statewide surpasses now more than 1 million ballots being returned. You can see Republican voters have turned in over 565,000 versus 394,000 for Democrats, with a few still processing. Of course, people still choosing who they want to vote for and turning those ballots in tonight. Remember, in Colorado, unaffiliated voters will receive a ballot for each party, but they can only turn in one. Out of the 408,000 unaffiliated voters who have returned their ballots already, 194,000 of those counted are for the Republican primary. That purple chunk still in process, so we're continuing to see high turnout from Republicans in this case. Now, we did speak to the clerk and recorder Paul Lopez here in Denver County about the citywide budget cuts, and he said this is not the year to cut corners.
we're not going to be participating in any budget cuts because we have a presidential election cycle. We got 4 elections that we're overseeing, including what's probably going to be the busiest presidential cycle and election in a long time.
Now, of course, this primary election is for the big presidential election coming up in November. So, of course, this is why this year is so huge. He's expecting a large turnout similar to that of 2020. Of course, a lot was riding on the line there about 4 years ago. So we'll continue to follow turnout numbers and how this impacts the election moving forward. But again, you have to have that ballot in by 7 o'clock tonight, either in a 24/7 ballot drop box, or if you like to do it the old school way, come on in person. You can still vote in person. Haven't seen anyone do that yet today, but you have to be in line by 7 o'clock tonight. Live in Denver, Carly Moore, Fox 3.
And the amazing thing is, I can remember probably 15 years ago standing in your position at a ballot place, and there were people endlessly coming in to vote. So times have changed, but certainly you're still casting your ballot. It's still important, whether you do it in a drop-off box or you do it in person. Thank you, Carly.
Brandon, this morning, a threatened species could be making its return to Colorado.
Yeah, a group of state lawmakers teaming up with the Denver Zoo and other groups to try to bring back the wolverine. Fox 31's Lisa D'Souza is on it. We're talking about actual wolverines, Lisa.
I know. Not too often that wolverines make the news, that is for sure. But this is apparently a bipartisan effort because the wolverine population is dwindling. Officials, they estimate there are less than 400 wolverines in the continental U.S. and there hasn't been a wolverine spotted in our state since 2009. So the goal here is to try and boost their population. So here's a bit more on that front. Experts say much of the high country they feel really could be a good habitat for these animals to thrive. CPW says Colorado could potentially take on anywhere from 100 to 180 wolverines. They were listed as a threatened species by federal officials back in November, largely due to climate change. That move was actually met with some pushback by people who argue that the animal is actually pretty adaptable. So if you're not familiar, I wasn't until this morning, wolverines, they're the largest species in the weasel family, weighing around 40 pounds, experts say. Just like I said, the Denver Zoo and several environmental nonprofits are taking part in this effort here. And you may remember when we're talking about animal reintroduction, when we were talking about wolf reintroduction, the potential for those wolves attacking livestock was a big concern for farmers. CPW saying with the wolverines, any occurrences like that are extremely rare. So it's not something that will necessarily be a huge part of the conversation. Obviously something we'll be tracking though. For now, we're live at the Capitol. Lisa D'Souza, Fox 31.
All right, Lisa, thank you.
This morning, a dash camera capturing the terrifying moment massive boulders came tumbling down. You got to see this video on top of cars during a rock slide. This was in Peru. Take a look. Could you imagine?
That is crazy. Look at the impact here. Look how massive those boulders were. Amazingly, no one was killed when those 2 boulders tumbled down the mountain, landed right on 2 trucks. The driver in the truck with the dash cam tried to reverse out of danger as more rocks continued to tumble on the road. But it's crazy that despite that impact, no one was hurt.
Wow, just glad everybody's okay. 9:08 right now. Speaking of tumbling like a rock, the Broncos have for the past few seasons. And now, Russell Wilson out.
Yep. The ride is over. So what is next for the orange and blue? Drew, you've been tracking this not only as a journalist, but as a longtime
As a big Broncos fan, frankly, we haven't had a whole lot to cheer about since Super Bowl 50. But those are the 2 big questions this morning. Who will replace Russ? And where could he be headed next? Well, there are 3 options: the draft, free agency, or a guy that's already on your roster. So we asked KOA Broncos radio insider Brandon Cristal on the show earlier this morning about the current backup, the current situation in Jarrett Stidham. Take a listen.
I just know that if he's the starter and there isn't a first-round rookie behind him, I'm not sure fans are going to be inspired come September. And if they're losing games, October and November could be a little dicey in terms of open seats there in Power Field at Mile High. But I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I don't think fans would be excited about that. But what are the odds makers saying? Well, the highest odds on where Wilson will land, the Pittsburgh Steelers. According to DraftKings, the odds to acquire Wilson for the Steelers are -200. That's pretty favorable odds, as in likely to happen, according to those odds makers. The next best odds, how about this? Our division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders. Could you imagine if Russ went to Vegas and wore that Raiders uniform, and then the Atlanta Falcons, followed by the New England Patriots? Much higher odds there. Now, who will the orange and blue target as their next quarterback? That's what's important to me as a fan. Well, according to Bet Colorado, last year's backup, Jarrett Stidham, the heavy favorite, the odds-on favorite by far. He, of course, made 2 starts for the Broncos last season. He won 1 and lost 1. The Broncos could also look at the draft. J.J. McCarthy is the next favorite, followed by Bo Nix out of Oregon. Or they could sign a veteran like Jameis Winston, Gardner Minshew. Free agency, by the way, begins March 13th. That's the day that he will officially be released by the Broncos. Russell Wilson, they've just given him the heads up, and then the draft has come end of April. But the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, and BK talked about this as well, will be gone by number 12.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And so do you take a guy that is the 4th or 5th best quarterback in the draft class, and then you don't have the ammunition to move up? You already traded multiple first-round picks for Russ.
But you never know. You never know. I mean,
for sure.
Look at Tom Brady. What draft was he?
Yeah, 6th-round pick. That's why. That's why you never know. And they could mortgage the future, and send draft picks down the road to try to move up as well. But they've done that the last couple of years. Remember, they traded a first-round pick for their head coach right now.
Or it could be Stidham. I don't know. I mean,
it could be Stidham.
It could be Stidham.
It just would not be an excited fan base in the offseason if that's what
you got to at least get a potential backup who could become great down the road.
Isn't it better to at least have that hope out there?
Excitement of not knowing what could,
We haven't had hope for 8 years here in
There was hope, though. That's not when he came.
You're right.
You were so amped.
You're right. Everyone
and so was everybody.
Yeah, when Russ got here. You thought you were getting a Super Bowl winner, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out here.
Thanks, Drew.
Yep.
Well, still ahead at 9, an alarming new statistic, colon cancer, now the top cancer killing people under the age of 50. We're hearing from a local doctor on why this is on the rise for younger people.
Hey, good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Kirk. Today's Super Tuesday, not just for the voters, but for the All Veterans Honor Guard. Today, they were honored here at State Capitol. We'll show you in a couple minutes.
And we're struggling to make it out of the 30s, but don't worry, we'll warm up this afternoon into the lower 50s when it's all said and done. Don't get used to the sunshine, though. We have big changes on the way. More on that coming up.